Hello, Miss Hopkins. Hello, Miss Hopkins.
Hi, sorry to be late. I'm at work and I just was like saw the reminder and I was like, oh my gosh. So I'm actually going to be driving while we're talking for a few minutes.
That's absolutely understandable.
Okay, I'm going to see if I can not use my camera, but it doesn't really. Oh, I'm going to stop video just so that I can not using so much data.
I understand.
Okay, there we go. Okay, there we go. All right. I have about 15 minutes till I'm going through the tunnel, so we should be good.
All right.
Okay.
Well, first of all, I wanted to say congratulations on your performance at, what was it, your 9th Comrades Ultra?
Yeah, my 10th actually. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
It was hard.
Well, this interview is going to be used to promote running and the Niagara Falls Marathon.
Great. I love the Niagara Falls Marathon and running.
All right. One thing I'm sure people will ask is, how did you get into running?
I started running in 2003, and I just had I'd put on some weight and was middle-aged and not feel, and lots of stress at work and lots of stuff going on at home, and it just seemed like a good stress reliever for me, which it was.
I think a lot of people can agree with that.
Yeah, I started running with a club in St. Catharines called Runner's Edge, and I still run with them. From not as regularly. I run on my own a lot, but just because of my schedule. But yeah, it was best decision I ever made.
You know Benny then, and Wookie.
Yes, I know Benny and Wookie well.
They're a great team.
Running, they are a great team. It's a great store and great running club.
Well, something I know I'm curious to know, how did you come to enter the Comrades Marathon for the first time?
So I had never, I think I'd read an article in Runner's World about it in maybe, I don't know, maybe the early 2000s. And then we happened to be on a running cruise actually with a friend and met some friends from Pennsylvania who were involved in the running community. He worked for Runner's World at the time, and he was going to go to Comrades, and they asked if I'd like to join them. And so at that point, I'd never run more than a marathon, and that was in 2010 or in the fall of 2009 that we registered, and yeah, and I ran my first Comrades in May of 2010, I guess it was.
So what really went into the Comrades Marathon? I mean, what set it apart from other races, in your opinion?
I think, so the distance is unusual for a road race to be, much more than there. I guess there are some 50K road races and probably the odd 100K one, but not too many. So it's now about 90K, or I clock in at about 91K when I run. But it's in South Africa, it's really quite, I think in the world, it's a unique race in terms of its ability to unite the country. And it is, in South Africa, you meet anyone who doesn't know what the Comrade is. And most people you meet want to run it someday if they haven't already. It's really part of I think of the culture of South Africa. It's been run since 1921, with the exception of, I think, 4 years during the Second World War and 2 years during the pandemic. So it's been around a long time, and it's just and it's 56 miles or 90K of hills and tough people and wonderful crowd support.
It sounds like it's quite an experience.
It is amazing. It's time I run it, I think I'm never going to run this again because it's so hard. But pretty shortly after I finish, I'm already making plans for the next year. And but it's remarkable how many people run it, and because it's such a long way, obviously, unless you're a front runner and you're running super hard the whole time, you do sort of you would take walk breaks at times. You walk up some of the hills and you meet remarkable people.
That's part of the running experience.
It truly is. Truly is.
So, how exactly did you come to run the Comrades Marathon 10 times? I'm sure people would ask, because it's no small distance, and it's no small amount of heat in that country, I suppose many people would say.
Yeah, so temperature-wise, it's actually typically, I mean, there's some days. There's one year in 2013 that was extremely hot, where there was what's called a BERG wind, and it was just extremely hot wind coming across. And but typically it's when we run, it's typically in June, which is the end of their fall, beginning of their winter. And so the temperatures are comparable to what we would have on kind of an average summer day here. So temperatures are not too bad normally, although it can be kind of all over the place. But they're very smart the way they do it. So when you run the first time, one has a bib color, a race number color that is sort of tells people, tells other competitors and people in the crowd, how many comrades you've run, how many medals you have, and if you are an international runner, you have a different color bib. Typically, it's blue. And then for runners who have run 10 or more, you have a green bib. And if you're running two runs in a row, so if it's your second run, you have an orange bib. And if you're going for a sort of a benchmark run, so a 10th, a 20th, a 30th, or 40th, or 50th, there's going to be a guy going for his 50th in a couple of years. Then you have a yellow bib. So it's quite interesting, because what happens is that you kind of get roped in by that. So you run your first one and you get one medal, and then if you run the second consecutive year, you get what's called a back-to-back medal. And so you get your finisher's medal, but you also get another medal that is specific to that year and to that race. It's kind of neat. And then what happens is you have such a good time that you try to figure out a way to get there again. And before you know it, you're at 5. And once you're at 5, you're sort of thinking, well, I might as well, I'm at 5, I might as well do 10 and get my green number. And now I've got my green number, and I do plan on only going back for one more, but you never know.
Well, I think it's very impressive. And one thing I can honestly say, your story is extraordinary for a specific reason. I've heard of numerous ultra runners, and one thing I found, from Dion Leonard to Ray Zahab, so many of these runners, they didn't start out running at a young age. They really started running more middle age, these ultra races.
Yeah, I think the ultra racing is, there are a lot of runners so I'm 62, there are a lot of runners in my age group. There are, older runners, obviously. But I think when I started running, I was fairly fast. I ran the Boston Marathon 5 times. I was a little more focused on speed, and then it gets to be more about the journey than your time. And it's actually less, I find it's less stressful on my body and less stressful mentally in some ways to run the longer distances at a more sedate pace, I guess I would say, or a more manageable pace. And it also opens doors to, there's so many amazing places to run, trail races and road races. I was lucky enough to get into the Western States Lottery in 2011, and I ran Western States that year. I probably will never run another 100-miler, but it was an extraordinary experience, and I think my body has held up very well. I have literally no aches or pains. I don't take any pain medication or have to have any kind of treatments on a regular basis or anything. I'm very lucky. So it may also be that us older runners are us runners who start later in life didn't do as much damage to our bodies earlier on when we maybe when we might have. So I think that might be a factor too.
That's definitely a possibility.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you for your time, Cathy. I really appreciate it, and I know our viewers will too. I hope I hope I'm not too forward when I ask you this.
Sure.
I, as a race ambassador for the Niagara Marathon, would personally like to invite you to take part in the race.
Wow. What is the date for the race? I should know. I think the last weekend in October, right?
Yes, October 23rd, 2022.
I would love to do that. I've run the half marathon, and I ran my fastest 10K there actually a few years ago. So I would love to run. I would love to run either like a 5 or a 10K. I think would be great. I would, if that's possible. And I'm happy to. I'd love to do that.
Well,
great race.
I actually have discount codes as an ambassador for 10%,
Sweet.
And
Great.
I would like to offer one to you.
Great. That would be wonderful. If you can send that to me, I will sign up 100% for sure. I'm just about to go through the tunnel, so I don't want to lose you.
Well, that's quite all right. I think our time's up. Thank you for your time, and I hope to see you there.
I'm back.
Apologies for that.
No, that's my fault. I was going through the tunnel and I was like, I was going to pull over and then I forgot to pull over until it was too late. But yeah, that'll actually work out really well to run because I have my qualifier for next year's Comrades a couple of weeks after that. So it'll be perfect tune-up.
Excellent.
Yeah,
I hope to see you. Please go
great
ahead.
ambassador. You're a great ambassador for the race.
Thank you.
They're lucky to have you. Yeah. I'll look forward to, I'll see if I can find you in person on race day.
Thank you. Maybe you'll see me at the expo with the other ambassadors.
I will be there. Okay, sounds good. Thanks a lot, Zachary.
You're welcome, and thank you very much. Have a good day.
Take care. You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.